Hey, this is Matt once again. What about 10 of the videos? Another paid request, this time from RB. Thank you so much, man. Uh, I'll get to your others as soon as I can. And for those interested in requesting any type of reviews or topics, reactions, commentaries, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for Contagion, the 2011 film directed by Steven Soderbergh. Now, of course, Contagion is very interesting to watch after the whole pandemic stuff because I will say this does very much hit close to home. It does very much tell a fairly realistic take on a contagion, a pandemic. It's very procedural. It does have a pretty good cast. You got Matt Damon, Gwyneth Paltrow, Lawrence Fishburne, Kate Winslet, Jude Law. A lot of familiar people. Bryan Cranston's in the film. It's one of those movies where the acting is good. I can appreciate how it really tries to go as realistic and it has very procedural, very as much science accurate as possible. Sort of the breakdown of trying to look into what this disease is, how to isolate cases as best as we can, how to try to ease down panic, how the upper echelon of the medical field works, whether the CDC or other places, how you can have a blogger use it to his own benefit, like Jude Law's character, in order to make some money off it. I don't know if you need the whole woman being kidnapped, so I wanted you to cure this village, and we're not going to let you go until that happens. For a film that, I mean, I'm sure that could happen. It's just, I don't know who's needed in this. But I was never a big fan of this movie. In fact, it's like I don't really want to. They want to revisit it again because I'm like, we already lived through this, so to revisit it again, it's like, oh great, this is going to be a. The more things change, the more they stay the same, and nothing is learned. Because the story's Gwyneth Paltrow goes to Hong Kong. Again, Hong Kong, go figure. So this movie was definitely ahead of its time. And when she comes back, she's sick. She dies. And the stepson dies from being sick too. And Matt Damon doesn't know what to do, but he happens to be immune to it. So then throughout the film, he's doing anything to protect his daughter from another marriage, to protect her as much as possible. As he bit of the looting, which, I mean, that is absolutely accurate. I mean, look how much people went fucking crazy to find toilet paper, to find the TP for the bun hole. I must kill you. I mean, we already know that was crazy enough with Black Friday, and I need to kill you for that PlayStation. Now I need to wreck your shit for toilet paper. And it's one of those films that has a lot of different little stories happening all around. You have Lawrence Fishburne with CDC sending Kate Winslet to look into and investigate what happened and where Twitter Baltrow went to. You have Elliot Gould, who's been a lot of stuff from back in the day. He was in the movie MASH from back in the day, among many others. Them testing out different things on how to try to beat this virus. Jude Law is his blogger, who does a bit of these conspiracy things. At one point, try to pimp out this drug, which pretty much doesn't do anything, but people want to feel safe, so they take it, and it helps Jude Law make a bit of money. The thing with it is that I can appreciate it being more realistic and very procedural, but it's also very cold and clinical in my opinion. And for me, There's another film that I much more enjoy than this, and it may be more unrealistic. I'll give you that. Outbreak from 1995, starring Dustin Hoffman, Morgan Freeman, Rene Russo, yes, Kevin Spacey, Cuba Gooding Jr., Donald Sutherland, J.T. Walsh. Hell of a cast. I know that film is much more unrealistic and it's much more escapism with fire, helicopter chases and all that stuff. I'm honestly fine with that because you can get a bit of reality, but at the same time, I prefer also the escapism where I get enough of the real stuff that made me creeped out, but then I get more of the. It's weird to say fun, but entertainment. This film may be much more realistic, but the phrase I think of is emotional detachment. The acting's very nice, but I'm not big on the pacing of the film. I think there's a lack of energy. I know that sounds weird to say, and I honestly found it rather boring. I always found this film. I found Contagion boring when I first saw it. I find it boring and also kind of reliving what happened. As I don't need to see a movie. We all lived it. Like we all lived this. We don't need to see. Well, some do. So you'd be my guest. But I just felt a bit emotional detachment throughout the whole film. Outbreak, on the other hand, I still felt more visceral. You saw much more of the grotesque imagery of what this virus could do to people. The way Wolfgang Peterson directed the film, where you see like the POV of the virus, like going through the vents and infecting the whole movie theater. I think that brought a sense of urgency and ooh, like, yeah, that could happen, and just how everyone's touching everything and how the whole virus is going through all this. You see how all the bodies and yes, oh, you could talk about how unrealistic it is. Oh, 100% mortality rate, there's no way. Or, oh, how fast this goes, and the government's going to bomb the city, and it takes a helicopter to give an emotional rah-rah speech to tell the helicopters to go back. Yes, I understand, that makes it more of a movie. I don't think that's a bad thing, but that's personal preference. I think the stuff that makes it more of a movie, makes it more of an entertainment to watch, and get more emotionally charged into it. I always remember the scene with Dustin Hoffman yelling at Morgan Freeman. And Morgan Freeman's like, we got it under control. And Dustin Hoffman's like, God damn, no, we don't got it under control. I just went through 100 people, and if one of them's died... Okay, let me... If I learn how to say it right. No, it's goddamn not under control. They just went through 100 people in the hot zone, and if one of them's got it, then 10 of them's got it, and we're in deep fucking shit. And we're already in deep fucking shit. And I think also with that, it was great to see Dustin Hoffman in that kind of role, because it's rare for him to get in that... Probably one of the closest he ever got to an action type of role, or that type of gusto. And that was great to see. And it was also... It was great to have a main protagonist to follow this through. There's all these other great actors, but you really follow Dustin Hoffman's story. Here, it's hard to say who the lead character is. Because you can't really say Matt Damon. You can't really say Lawrence Fishburne. You can't really say Kate Winslet. Just all these little side things happening and just put together. So yeah, it goes into Kate Winslet investigating, finding out that something of this happened in Hong Kong. You find out Gwyneth Paltrow cheated on Matt Damon, and Was it something to do with that? Okay, something in Hong Kong. Was it something that she touched? Something that she ate? What happened with that? I did like Elliot Gould's line, the Jew law, blotting is graffiti with punctuation, not writing. I did like that line. Bryan Cranston's sort of a head like military guy, talked with Lawrence Fishburne. And it's just, okay, Elliot Gould's, you're doing tests. Actually, you know what, you stop doing tests. But he keeps on with that and he finds a little nugget of information. Lawrence Fishburne's trying to quiet people down because they don't want to panic, but then Drew Law lets it out there and it does cause panic. Kate Winslet, during her investigation, gets sick and she's dying. I think one of the people with Lawrence Fishburne's group, or at least one of the people, one of the ladies, they get kidnapped and put to this village and say, we want you to cure this village and you're not leaving until we do get the vaccine. At one point, all the vaccines just a placebo. We got the real vaccine, and you guys will get it now. But it's going to take like a year or so before we can get it to the public. Yeah, I'm sure you could look a lot into this and see a lot of reflections of what really happened with the C to the O to the VID. And the Neighbors Roosters apparently feel the same way. But yeah, like I said, watching it, I get you, man. Like I said, I know it's more realistic, and it's a big reflection of what happened. But yeah, I don't feel the need, the desire, the want to relive that over again. And I'm like, I could get that from the Andromeda strain, where it was also a very clinical, cold movie, but it was an alien virus, and the set design and stuff made it go where, okay, I can enjoy the idea and how it relates to reality, but also enjoy the escapism at the same time. Same with Outbreak. We're still dealing with the deadly virus and what it could do and the infection spread, but also the gusto of us try to be a summer blockbuster and great cast. Maybe know and think of the horrors of how this would happen and did happen, but at the same time still enjoy as deep as entertainment as a movie. I'm just repeating myself, I know. So like I said, for me, I always thought this film was boring, lack of energy, emotional detachment. Although I will give that the acting is very nicely done. I didn't think any of the actors were bad. And if you do want just a realistic portrayal of how this would happen, very, very procedural. Kind of all the facts, all the science facts, step by step by step. If you're fascinated by that, if that's what you want out of a movie, this is the movie you get out of it. But again, I just kind of, at times, it almost felt like watching a science show and not a movie. Because I couldn't get that invested in the character. Maybe the closest I get is Kate Winslet. Like, there's a nice little bit where she's sick. I think she gives up her blanket for another person. Even though they're both really sick and she's dying. Like, maybe her, I get a little bit of attachment to. But the other characters is more, oh, I know that actor. Good actor. Other than being really... And like Matt Damon, his whole thing is, okay, he's keep his daughter safe, but also the daughter's in love with this guy, and the guy should know better, and Matt Damon understands that I can't let you in. Gotta do a quarantine thing. Which I don't blame the guy, because his wife, Gwyneth Paltrow, died, and the stepson died. I can't really blame him for being paranoid about it. Or at times they see some looting, and they hear gunfire, and hopefully try to protect themselves. But yeah, like I said, I don't know about the whole subplot with the woman, the village thing. I don't know if that was needed. I think you could have cut that and would have nothing would have been lost. And yeah, pretty much the vaccines are made, and but they don't tell the whole story. If you want to talk about being realistic, how about the vaccines either A, don't work because there's a lot of people that have taken it and they still get it. I mean, I have a friend right now that did a bit of it. Well, I guess I could say it because he put on his Facebook. My friend Mike, OCP Communications. He's taken the shot, and you know what happened? Now he's experiencing C to the O to the VID. Since YouTube don't like me saying it, C to the O to the VID. Right now, being sick, having a sore throat, saying it's worse than the flu, and going through that horrible shit. And the whole fucking vaccine is supposed to not have that happen. Well, actually, no, so it doesn't spread as much. Well, a lot of people took it and spread to him. You don't want to put that in the movie. Well, this is before that came out, but how about you just put that into it? How vaccines. Well, yeah, the one that was the placebo, I guess there's that, but the true vaccine. There are people that have taken it and they still gotten the thing like 5 times. There are people that got more sick from that than from when they got the damn thing. You hear stories of people that have taken it and they've gotten more sick throughout the years. Just saying. Don't believe me, look it up. Think for yourself. Look up your own information. Not spreading false information. I'm saying these are stories real people have said. I'm sure it's worked well for other people. But if you have lab rats, if 3 out of 10 it worked, well, those 3 are happy it worked, but what about the other 7? There you go. So, but yeah, put that in a movie. Anyway, sorry to go on that tangent. But yeah, Contagion, wasn't a fan of the movie, still not a fan of the film. I just find it very boring. I feel like a lot of Steven Soderbergh movies. I don't mind the first Ocean's 11. I don't mind Out of Sight with George Clooney. But I'm not a huge Steven Soderbergh fan. I think he did Haywire with Gina Carano, I think, and I wasn't a fan of that. I think he did another one. Was he the one that did Timmy, or was he another guy? I can't remember. I can't remember his filmography. I'd have to look it up. Which would take me like a few minutes to do this, but like I said, I much prefer Outbreak. I wish they had re-released Outbreak on Blu-ray. I think that would have been nice to... Because I know that both of these movies got pretty popular when this stuff was going on. So I just, there were people that wanted to watch it during it, but Outbreak deserves a re-release on Blu-ray. I think there's much more. If you're asking me which I would rather pop in, Outbreak easily any day, especially if it doesn't happen. We're in deep fucking shit. We're already in deep fucking shit. Let me look at 1 second. Sorry for the delay. Let me look at the, come on. Once Google opens up, let me look at Steven Soderbergh. Again, I know more people prefer Contagion. It just, different strokes for different folks. What can I say? Let's see, ones I've seen, I should say. I don't mind Out of Sight. I don't mind Ocean's 11. Solaris, eh. Honestly, don't remember the other Ocean films. The Good German I reviewed, I like the aesthetic, but I think the story could have been a lot better. Che, I know people like that. I was never into it. Haywire, he did do. I wasn't a fan. Okay, he didn't do. Yeah, he did do Timmy. I was not a fan of that movie. So yeah, did it for you all. Thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye bye.